is. It's finally time for your official full Bills versus Ravens preview as we are ready for Week 1 Sunday Night Football in Orchard Park, the home opener and the season opener and the final season in Highmark Stadium for your Buffalo Bills. You're watching the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith, and let's preview Bills versus Ravens. The spread with Baltimore being the favorite on the road here. That's definitely something of note. The odds makers think that Buffalo is the underdogs. The total for this game is set at 50.5, and that is the highest number of Week 1. They expect fireworks to close things out on Sunday. 8:20 Eastern Time. You're going to see Collinsworth. You're going to see Tirico on NBC, and Carrie Underwood is going to charm her way into our TV sets. I can't wait for it all. We'll be live for that game, though, so join us as well. Have a second screen up with our live stream of Bills versus Ravens. We'll be live 45 minutes before the game kicks off Sunday at 7:45 Eastern Time. So subscribe and turn your notifications on. We'll have a full tailgate preview, and we'll have fun stuff happening during the game as well as our live play-by-play coverage. So subscribe and join us for a good Ravens versus Bills Week 1 live stream. Alrighty, in this preview, we're going to discuss a couple different things. We'll do a deep dive on the Bills and the Ravens, show you guys some statistics and what these teams are strong at. We'll get to some injury news as well. The injury reports have been released after 2 days of practice this week, and we'll get to my 5 keys to victory for your Buffalo Bills. Let's hop right into it. Getting to know the Baltimore Ravens a little bit, and this isn't going to be something that's too new for many people because this is a postseason rematch. The Ravens season ended at the hands of your Buffalo Bills in the divisional round in 2025. The Ravens are led by John Harbaugh, Todd Monken, who is in his, I believe, second year of running the offense here in Baltimore, and it's been a total transformation in as far as their passing offense goes. Lamar Jackson looking like one of the all-time great passers in this league now, and Zachary running things on the defense. They're one of the best units in the National Football League. As far as what the Ravens did on paper last season, they were the number 3 scoring offense in the entire NFL. They averaged 30.3 points per game, and they were no slouch on defense either. They were a top 10 defense, averaging 21.5 points per game allowed, and their turnover margin was solid. They were top 10. They had a +6 turnover margin. We know how great of a team that Baltimore is both keeping the football and making their opposing offenses give it away. Now, Baltimore, they don't have a lot of weaknesses, and they have a lot of strengths. So let's just get into what Baltimore is really, really good at and a couple of key facets of the game that Baltimore must focus on. Third down conversion percentage. Now, the Bills are very, very good in this area as well, so don't take this with a grain of salt, but Baltimore is elite on third downs. 50.5% of their third downs last year were converted. That's number 2 in the NFL. Red zone touchdowns. They were number 1 at converting touchdowns in the red zone last season at 73.9%. Yards per rush. They were the best rushing team, most efficient rushing team in the National Football League last year. They were number 1 in that area as well, nearly 6 yards a touch. Giveaways per game. They were also one of the better teams at taking care of the football last season. Number 3 in giveaways per game, and Lamar Jackson was number 1 in interception percentage. Opponents' yards per rush. They also were an elite run defense as well, so this might not bode well for an explosive running offense like James Cook and Josh Allen provided. The Bills held opponents to 3.6 yards per carry last season. Like I said, there are not many flaws with this with Baltimore Ravens team, and I was looking for a list of weaknesses to throw up, but I legit could not find any, so there's no graphic for that here. The Bills absolutely have their work cut out for them here in Week 1. And look, the Ravens have one of the best rosters in the National Football League, obviously one of the best coaching staffs, one of the best quarterbacks. They added to all that firepower this offseason. They added Jair Alexander in free agency, one of the most sought-after defensive backs in free agency. They had DeAndre Hopkins, and look, I'm not going to act like they added DeAndre Hopkins and this is the year 2017, but he's still out there. He's still a veteran presence, elite hands, elite route runner. He's still going to be a factor. Malachi Starks, Mike Green, and LeJontay Wester are, in my opinion, the 3 most notable rookies that came out of this class for Baltimore here. Malachi Starks, pairing him up with Kyle Hamilton is going to be a sight. Mike Green, I think, is underwhelmed a little bit, but he's still a first-round talent. And then LeJontay Wester could be a factor on special teams, and we'll see if he gets on the field on offense as well. Shifting gears to our Buffalo Bills, and you know them well. 13-4 last season, another AFC East title, and another AFC Championship game loss, and another playoff loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, it is time to get over the hump, and it starts here in Week 1. Same coaching staff. You guys know the deal. The Bills were one of the best teams in the NFL last year. They were actually a better scoring offense than the Baltimore Ravens here. Number 2 in the National Football League, and they were decent enough on defense too, middle of the pack, honestly. Most of their defensive metrics were in the teens to late teens there. So number 12 in opponent points per game, and their turnover margin. Well, the Bills were the best team in the league in the turnover battle last year, and that was the big factor as to why they had 13 wins in 2024. A plus 24 turnover margin. We know that Josh Allen had his best season taking care of the football last year, and they were elite at making opposing offenses give them the football back. So if they can replicate this, another stellar regular season incoming for Buffalo. Keep making the turnover battles one in your favor. Now, Buffalo's strengths, not as many as Baltimore here as far as team rankings amongst the top ranks in the NFL. Now, what Buffalo is the best in the league at is keeping number 17 clean. Now, Josh Allen deserves some praise for this as well. Of course, is his elusiveness in the pocket, his ability to escape it and use his legs as a weapon as well. But the Bills only had a quarterback sacked on 3.1% of dropbacks last season. That is number 1 in the NFL. That's got to continue this season, and it's got to continue in week 1 because Baltimore's defense in front is elite. Red zone touchdown percentage. The Bills are just as close to the Ravens as anybody in the National Football League. Number 2 in the league in red zone touchdown percentage, nearly 70% there. Very, very solid. Fourth down conversion percentage. Now, I know the third down conversion percentage, it's okay. It's middle of the pack, but their fourth down conversion percentage, if it ends up getting to do or die, the Bills are the second best team in the league at doing it, 74.2% clip. And then giveaways per game. The Bills take care of the football better than anybody in the NFL last year, number 1 in the league. So this projects to be a very, very clean game in week 1 here. But Ravens, Bills, two titans in the NFL. I don't got to show you guys all these numbers and spreadsheet stats in order to tell you guys that this is going to be a battle of beasts. Lamar, Josh, Baltimore, Buffalo, it's going to be a blast. If you want the Bills to destroy the Ravens in week 1 and crush all their hopes of a Super Bowl competing in the AFC, like the video. Don't jinx it. Don't be the guy who didn't like the video and then the Bills end up losing on Sunday and you're feeling bad after the result. Go down below, smash the thumbs up icon if you want the Bills to beat the Ravens in week 1. Next, we're going to get to our injury reports and our keys to victory. My 5 reasons the Bills could win this game and maybe could win it in dominant fashion at one point. We'll tell you guys in just a second, but first, get hooked up with our proud sponsor in the program, and that is PrizePicks. You and I make choices every single day, but why not make the right choice and choose PrizePicks? PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform, because it's daily fantasy made easy. This football season, you can win up to 2,000 times your money watching your Buffalo Bills by just picking more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And the fun doesn't stop there. They have basketball. They got baseball. The playoffs are around the corner. You can mix and match all these sports. You can put college football in your lineups as well. You can even stack the same stat projections for the same player, up to 3 same stats on a single player in pro football. It's awesome. And PrizePicks always wants to make it easier for you guys to win real money in real time. They're hooking you guys up with $50 in lineups instantly when you play your first $5 lineup, but you got to use our promo code CLNS. If you guys want an example of what a lineup for week 1 could look like, I got it for you. James Cook, more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Get in the paint. Josh Allen, more than 31.5 rushing yards. Get those legs churning. 17. You can take my picks or fade them, and you can use awesome free picks like I had for Dak Prescott on Thursday, more than half a passing yard. They will have awesome deals like that to help you guys and increase your multipliers every single week. So tell my picks or fade them. Just do it at PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Let's hop into some injury reports here. The Ravens injury report. And this could dictate a big, storyline in this game that we'll get to in just a little bit. But Jair Alexander was limited originally in practice earlier on Wednesday. He is a full participant on Thursday, and things are trending in the right direction towards him playing in week 1. Guard Daniel Falele could be the weak link of that Ravens offense there. He was dealing with an illness, and he was fully participating on Thursday as well. He looks like he's set to start at right guard for Baltimore. Isaiah Likely has not practiced since July and the beginning of training camp, and he did not practice again on Thursday. So it looks like he is going to be out for week 1. Does not look very likely, no pun intended, that he can suit up. Patrick Ricard, kind of a surprise injury here. John Harbaugh had said that it was just soft tissue that he was dealing with, but it turns out to be a full calf injury, and he also did not practice on Thursday, and it does not really bode well for his availability in week 1. We'll be monitoring that as we get closer, but this could be 2 big losses for the Ravens here. I'll tell you why in just a moment. The Bills injury report. Tyler Bass. This is not good. The Bills did bring in Matt Prater to the practice squad, so if Tyler Bass cannot go after not being able to participate on Thursday, then you might have to bring out Matt Prater to the active roster here. But I believe in Prater. He's got a strong leg. What I don't believe in here is the injury stuff behind Tyler Bass. And the fact that he's not been able to be 100% on the football field for the Bills here. He missed a 26-yarder in that preseason finale that he was able to suit up for. Definitely monitoring his status for week 1. Christian Benford. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. The Bills' most important defender will likely be available for week 1. A full participant at Thursday's practice after being limited earlier in the week. Very, very, very excited about that. Keon Coleman, also a limited participant on Thursday, dealing with a groin injury. But all reports came out for the media during his media availability, said that he seemed in good spirits. He seemed fine, and he looked like he was going to play week 1. Khalil Shakir, full participant again on Thursday, so that's awesome to hear. Looks like he'll get right back into his normal workload for week 1. And then Tre'Davious White did not practice again, and his status is really looking the murkiest for this matchup against Baltimore. It doesn't look like Trey White is going to be ready in time to play with that groin injury, and that means that Dorian Strong looks like he'll be starting alongside Christian Benford and Taron Johnson to round out that cornerback room. And look, he's shown good stuff over the past 2 weeks. Bobby Babich, the defensive coordinator, has been praising Dorian Strong's performance, but it's still a 6th-round rookie here, and against one of the highest-powered offenses in the NFL, it's going to be a challenge for sure. But he's one of the better run-defending cornerbacks out of this 2025 NFL draft class, and that could bode well against a really strong running Baltimore team here. So let's get to my 5 keys to victory in Bills versus Ravens. Let's expose their light personnels, and this is going to tailor back to their injury report here that features both Isaiah Likely and fullback Patrick Ricard. Baltimore, as we know, is one of the best running teams in the National Football League. And what happens, or what makes running the football easiest? When you have guys out there who can block the defense. So what does that mean? Baltimore likes to run a lot of heavy personnel, which could mean multiple tight ends or multiple running backs. And multiple running backs meaning Patrick Ricard being a fullback out there. In 2024, the Baltimore Ravens had the number 1 lowest rate of 3 wide receiver sets. Shout out to Warren Sharp Football, for all this analysis. He put up some great video on his Twitter. 40% of the Baltimore Ravens plays in 2024 came with 2 running back sets, mostly featuring, obviously, Patrick Ricard. That's number 2 in the National Football League. 46% of plays featured 2 tight ends sets. That's number 5 in the National Football League. Who are the Ravens tight ends? Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. So the Ravens like to have all these very heavy personnel sets out there because they run some of the most rushing heavy attacks in the National Football League. So Likely and Patrick Ricard matter incredibly to the Ravens' success and what they want to do running the football and passing the football as well. And when it comes to Likely's case, this is a crazy stat, and this could really determine a lot when it comes to what happens on Sunday night. When rushing the football with heavy personnel, the Ravens in 2024 ranked number 1 in EPA, expected points added, and success. That number and those figures dropped to number 11 for EPA and number 22 in rushing success when you shifted to 3 wide receiver sets and you couldn't get all those guys closer to the line of scrimmage and have your tight ends blocking out there or having your guy in Patrick Ricard at the fullback lead blocking out there. It's a huge difference, and we're going to probably see more 3 wide receiver sets than Baltimore is probably comfortable running on Sunday night because it's not likely that you're going to have Isaiah Likely or Patrick Ricard out there. And by the way, their EPA and success in the passing game dropped significantly without Isaiah Likely on the field as well. So get more 3 wide receiver sets and attack those, maybe run some man coverage on some inexperienced wideouts. Let's move on to number 2 of my keys to victory, and that's button up on special teams. This is a little bit self-explanatory and kind of vanilla and universal. Like, if you're not good at special teams, there's a good chance you're going to lose the football game. It cannot be understated how important it is. But in the case of Buffalo, it really cannot be overstated because they're not the greatest special teams unit. And we saw in the preseason, they were allowing long returns in a lot of their kickoffs. And the Bills have a new special teams coordinator. How well is he going to have everybody prepared and ready to go? The Ravens also have a new kicker in Tyler Loop. Justin Tucker no longer in the equation. Personal reasons, not going to get into it. And then also you couple in some new kickoff rules and tweaks touchbacks are now coming out to the 35. So it's going to be more enticing for teams to kick it into the landing zone and then those returns to come out. And the Bills, they've had pretty bad luck in season openers when it comes to special teams and the return games. This stat is wild. In 3 of the last 4 season openers, did you guys know this? In 3 of the last 4 season openers for Buffalo, they have given up 3 special teams touchdowns. In Arizona in 2024, they had a punt return touchdown. The Jets in 2023, they had a kick return touchdown. And in Pittsburgh in 2021, they had a blocked punt return touchdown. So like 3 different massive miscues that made all 3 of those games a lot closer than they needed to be here. Make sure the special teams is buttoned up and everybody's ready to go for week 1 because you can't afford against a team as buttoned up as the Ravens are on offense and defense to be giving up points in the special teams department. You'll lose the football game. Next up, get off the field on 3rd down here. And again, not something that probably applies to every football team in the National Football League, but specifically against the Baltimore Ravens, who I said before are the best 3rd down conversion team in the National Football League. And then when you flip to the other side and look at what the Bills do on 3rd downs on defense, it is not so pretty. This must change. You see this right here? It must change. Bills opponents in 2024 converted 3rd downs at a 44.5% rate, the 3rd highest in the NFL. That can't happen. The next closest playoff team was the Kansas City Chiefs at 24. It just can't happen anymore. We know that the Chiefs last year probably had one of their, I guess down the stretch of the season, one of the worst defensive units in the Mahomes era. But it's a Baltimore situation here where they are elite at picking up these 3rd downs. And I say with caution, maybe throw some more man blitzes out there. We know the Bills like to throw a ton of man blitzes in the AFC Divisional game against Baltimore. But in this situation, with Zay Flowers getting back in the fold, and it could be some 3rd and short situations, look for Baltimore to try to get the ball out quick. You got to be tight up on these receivers because Lamar is going to want to get the ball out quick on these 3rd down situations, and that's how they've had a lot of success doing it. Next up on the keys to victory, attack the interior of that Ravens offensive line. If there's any weak spot on the Ravens' whole roster this season, it's probably the interior of their offensive line. Their front 7 is good. The back end of their defense is good. Their cornerback room is elite. They got one of the best safeties in the NFL. They just drafted a high-priority safety. Their offense has the top 3 quarterback in the NFL. They have a decent enough receiving core. They had a 1,000-yard receiver in Zay Flowers last year. A good offensive line on the bookends at their tackle spots, Ronnie Staley and Roger Rosengarten. And then their tight ends are elite too. Where's the hole? There's got to be one hole on every roster in the NFL, and I think it's on the interior of the offensive line. I was talking to Ravens Rundown host Joey Peterson, and he said that Daniel Falele might be the weak link that Buffalo has to expose in order to just, collapse the rest of the Ravens offense here. You're only as strong as your weakest link, and if Buffalo can attack this, it's going to have a trickle-down effect to the rest of the offense, and it's going to make the Bills' lives on defense a whole heck of a lot easier, and subsequently Josh Allen's life as well. Look at this block in the preseason from Daniel Falele, who, by the way, is getting absolutely manhandled by a Colts defensive lineman who I don't believe made the roster, and I don't think was cut on the last day of cuts. This is an absolutely atrocious rep out of Falele, and if he's going to be your starting right guard in Baltimore for week 1, then the Bills might be in for an absolute treat. I'm looking at you, Daquan Jones. I'm looking at you, Deion Walker. I'm looking at TJ Sanders and Ed Oliver. They'll be looking at this film right here and say, I might be eating good on Sunday night. And then last key to victory. 17, baby. It's Josh Allen. Of course it's Josh Allen. I'm not going to sit here and, a couple of these keys to victory, I tried to give you guys some analytics. I tried to get in the spreadsheets for you. I'm not going to get in the spreadsheets with Josh Allen. It's damn simple. Go out there and do your thing. Put on for your city. We know Josh Allen. He makes plays with his legs. He makes plays with his arms. Arm angles. Incredible accuracy. Incredible arm talent. He's just going to make the plays when the game is on the line. And as long as he stays cool, calm, and collected and stays hungry, then this is going to be another phenomenal season, another phenomenal primetime performance from Josh Allen here. As long as, things don't get too out of pocket in the first couple minutes of the game here, as it did in the regular season last year, Derrick Henry busting that 80-yard touchdown to basically open the game. And kind of put it out of reach early. The Bills' offense was getting hounded at in that one. I think this will be a solid effort by Buffalo, and it's going to be a close game, but they have all the tools necessary, and especially kind of the gifts from the Ravens here with their injury report necessary to go out there and win this football game here. So with that being said, who do you guys got? Just ran through everything you need to know before this game kicks off on Sunday. Now decide for me. Who do you got? Buffalo or Baltimore? Let me know down in the comments section as I'm about to get to my prediction for Sunday Night Football. My prediction, of course, the Bills are starting out 1-0. If you watch my record prediction, I said they're winning this game, baby. Bills beat the Ravens 30-27. It is going to be a classic. It is going to be a high-powered offensive game because these two teams do not give the ball away all too much, and it's two quarterbacks that have a lot to prove and still are chasing that Lombardi. This game's going to be huge for either one of these two teams potentially securing the #1 overall seed in the AFC, and whoever comes out on top is going to have the inside track to doing so. I got Buffalo 30-27. Get your score predictions down in the comment section as well, and hit me up on Twitter at Tyler J. Smith. 2 H's in the handle because the name's common, but I am not. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Remember, we'll be live right here on the Bills Breakdown. Bills Ravens live stream. We'll have a tailgate. We'll have play-by-play. We'll have fun stuff. We'll have drinks on hand as well. Be here, subscribe, turn notifications on. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, let's go, Buffalo.